Hey, hello and welcome to the devlog of making my game called Sphere Knight. Even though the combat isn't the main game mechanic of my game, I wanted for it to at least not be boring. And I sort of achieved that by making the enemies a little bit smarter. Previously, enemies would rush to the player in straight line as soon as they have saw him, which is not exactly smart in a melee combat. I wanted to make them more unpredictable, so now they strafe in random direction to hit the player. So I'm not a very skilled programmer and I had a little trouble with implementing this idea, but I've managed to do it. It's probably like the worst way to do this, but the idea is that we take the point between the enemy and the player and then we create a line, which if it did a 360 degrees spin, that would create a circle. Then we take the furthest point on either a left or right side relevant to the angle that player approached the enemy or vice versa, and that's the point that the enemy has to go first and then to the player so that the enemy does like a arch path. I mean, it's not a arch path because he goes in two straight lines, but it just looks like it. At first I had an idea of making a circle with cosine and sine, but I had a trouble with rotating it. But then it struck me that you can actually just rotate a line and that will make a circle. So yeah, at least I learned some things about vectors and quaternions. The animations are still junky, but it's a placeholder and I will change that in the future. I also added them ability to throw their swords at the player. They can only throw it where there are at least two enemies fighting player in close distance and they are not too close and not too far away. It's because otherwise every enemy would just throw their swords at the player and now it's just a cherry on top. Like for example in Cuphead, when there are a couple things that you have to watch out and be aware of, and it just makes it more interesting and a little bit more harder. Like I said, the main thing in this game is not the combat, but I don't want for it to be boring. It will mostly be an adventure game with the sense of journey, like in one of my favorite game, Dark Souls. Level design is peak in that title with the sense of great journey in mostly linear world. It accomplishes that by making the world connected and not restricting you to only one path. I also tried to make like a camera switch because it's kinda hard to get into doors when you can't see nothing. And how it went you can see here. In the next devlog I want to do the art side of game development, which I kinda suck at, but you just can't escape it. I also want to start making the locations for the story mode and maybe I will reveal some story things. But all of that in the next devlog. I really want to thank you guys for the support and to be honest, I didn't expect that many people would see my game. Again, I want to thank you guys and I hope to see you in the next devlog. Bye.